Destined Rivals is the most anticipated Pokemon release since Pokemon 151, and it's dividing the Pokemon community like no other set in history. While one camp loves the artworks, others are left pretty disappointed. Though before we get into today's video, I'm actually gifting this Great Tusk EX Special Illustration Rare from Scarlet and Violet Base. Now this was one of my fan favorites when it released, and it deserves a new home. Now if I do reply to your comment with this Mega Medichan emoji, then well done, this card is being sent your way. And hey, if you are a first time viewer, welcome aboard to the channel. My name's Phil and I try to simplify the world of Pokemon collectibles. If you do like consistent Pokemon TCG content, definitely feel free to subscribe. Though Destined Rivals has a lot of issues relating to the set, right? Because one of the main reasons was how difficult the set was to get during pre-orders. And this kind of started this whole bit of a mess, right? Though something interesting has happened. It seems a lot of people who've seen the reveals of the artworks are left disappointed with the set. And then some people are really enjoying it as well. So what's really the consensus? I think one area with Destined Rivals and why it may be seen as a bit lackluster has more to do with the general fatigue people are having for these remakes or nostalgia throwbacks, right? Now, this isn't just for Pokemon, by the way. There's so much data coming out that people are just over the whole remake era of movies and series. And I mean, we could see that pretty clearly with the recent Snow White movie, right? So even though Destined Rivals is a brand new set, it does feel it's more heavily geared towards nostalgia than a fresh new set such as Surging Sparks. So I actually think that's one of the reasons, right? Another issue is, right, when there's so much nostalgia for a set, the real dedicated fans kind of always get disappointed because it's almost impossible to match expectations. And that's actually why I think Pokemon 151 is actually the anomaly, because it was done so well and it kind of felt necessary to bring something like that back in. Though here's the thing, I want to get into some of the artworks and why the fans are getting divided and kind of walk you through all of that. So let's start with Moltres. So here we are with the Moltres, right? Now, I have to kind of get this out of my chest. I do think this is the best artwork from Destined Rivals by a long shot, right? I think it is incredible, man. When I see this card, this is like the kind of caliber of artworks I was expecting for the set. Now, truthfully, I'm actually not minding Destined Rivals that much. I think it's quite on brand and I think it's good and I think it's a decent set, right? I think there's a lot of people complaining. Though when I'm looking at this Moltres, I really don't think there's much to complain about because, you know, this is to me, this is a 10 out of 10 artwork, right? It's gonna be interesting to see the pricing for a lot of these cards, and I'm gonna be walking you through more of these cards as we continue. Though right now, I wouldn't be surprised if this Moltres is one of the more expensive cards from the set. You know, is it gonna compete with the others in the set? Who knows? But right now, this is kind of, I think if a lot of the cards were on this caliber, people wouldn't be complaining. Though I think because some of the other artworks, which I will be going through, there actually is, if you're going on forums or if you're going on threads or discords, people are really saying some negative things about Destined Rivals. Though that may be good because it may calm the price down. I think a lot of people are forgetting that. If people don't like a set, the price will eventually calm down. Because the whole reason for a set to be in demand, it needs to be loved in the first place, especially when it starts out. Shrouded Fable, the whole reason why it never could take off that easily is because people didn't really like the set. But as time goes on, that changes. Now also, for some pretty incredible news, I've actually teamed up with Collector and we are both giving away this PSA 10 Sylveon V from Evolving Skies. You can enter the giveaway in my Discord, which is in the video's description. Now today's video is kindly sponsored by the Collector app. So the Collector app is a fantastic all-in-one collectible tracking portfolio which allows you to store your collectible info along with having prices update in real time. Now, what's so awesome is that you're actually able to select what price you paid for certain items, and you get a whole overview of your collectibles measured against their current market prices. The Pro version also unlocks the Max tab, which allows you to access pricing data, which extends past 1 year, which is super useful for collectors who want to track pricing data over an extended period. Definitely feel free to check out the Collector app. All the details are within the video's description. So here's the thing, right? Even when I'm looking online, I'm just reading some comments from a Reddit thread. You know, people saying, might give Shrouded Fable a run. You know, that's the kind of community opinion at the moment. Some people are saying that it's on the same level as Shrouded Fable, right? The Heatwave Arena cards are better, but it should be okay. That's actually interesting because when I actually looked at that, I kind of do agree. I think the Heatwave Arena cards, a lot of people were complaining about those as well, but when you kind of compare them to Glory of Team Rocket cards, you know, there is a chance for that too. Now here we go on the Yanmega special illustration rare. And here's so funny, and this is the funniest thing about Pokemon cards, right? And this is actually important for you to know. Your opinion can change so much, and the community's opinion on a card artwork can change so much as time goes on. So when I first saw this Yanmega, I was like, maybe a little bit lackluster, maybe it's not that good, maybe it's not that interesting. Though as time's going on, this is actually creeping up, and I'm kind of thinking, wow, I really like this card. So it's kind of funny how that works. And I think that's actually an important thing, right? Because like Fusion Strike in 2021, people didn't like that set. People were like, oh, it's boring. Everyone saw Evolving Skies. Everyone was on like a high, right? And then when Fusion Strike came up, people were just like, oh, this is such a boring set. I don't like it at all. But how funny is that now? Look at Fusion Strike right now, man. How many people say bad words about Fusion Strike at the moment? No one. Everyone's loving it. Everyone says, oh, that's one of the greatest sets of the Sword and Shield era. Literally how it is right now, it's Evolving Skies is everyone's favorite from the Sword and Shield era. And then it's Fusion Strike. It wasn't always like that. You know, Lost Origin was more loved than it. You know, Brilliant Stars was more loved than Fusion Strike, right? So now that's what I mean, man. Collectibles change. And when you're involved in this space, you need to know how to catch that kind of change in sentiment. That's what I mean when I'm talking about this Yanmega. Even from the first reveal, when I saw it from Heatwave Arena to now, and I'm really excited for this card. In terms of it being valuable, probably not. But I can see why a lot of people wouldn't like this card, right? Some people really like their heroic artworks, their kind of Battle Royale, kind of Crown Zenith stylized artworks. But the thing is, Yanmega needs some representation. You know, it is a very beloved Pokemon from Generation 4. So for this reason, I think it's really great to see it have some representation, especially as a special illustration rare. But you know, to me, even when I'm looking at this Nidoking, to me it looks good, man. To me, it doesn't look like such a bad set. I think people have very high expectations, right? And I was speaking about that before. The expectations for Destined Rivals was way more than what probably was delivered. But that's okay, because I think, you know, if we're collecting for a long time, as time goes on, a lot of people will look back at these cards. But, you know, when I'm looking at this Nidoking, I don't really see that many problems with it, though I just think people expected something much more grandiose. And that's what I was saying about, right? Like when you have these crazy expectations, it just gets so hard to match them. And then when you can't match expectations, it just leaves with disappointment. And that's kind of hard. And this usually happens, right? This is so common. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3, no matter how good Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be, the expectation for waiting like 14 or 15 years for the game was always going to have a bad reception, or people were just going to be disappointed, because when you wait so long for something, the hype builds way too much. And that's the problem. I think when we heard that we were going to get a Team Rocket set, it was like May last year. That was way too long of a time to be waiting for a Pokemon set. The kind of rumors started in May last year, and you know, now we're finally getting it in May of this year. So because of that, too much time passed, man. Way too much time passed between then and now. And because of that, now we're kind of seeing that play out in real time. Now we're seeing people saying, hey, I'm not happy with the set. Though, if you do want the set, this may be an opportune time to get it, because, you know, if the sentiment and the people aren't really there, I kind of did speak about this before, but I kind of do feel Destined Rivals will be the set to kind of pop the Pokemon bubble. I really feel that people can't keep continuing this, especially like I said before, Pokemon's kind of said on social media that they're going to be printing more cards, right? They've actually acknowledged the production issue. Because the hype's kind of slowly leaving, there is a chance that Destined Rivals may be one of the last sets that this crazy hype and momentum builds. And you know, when I'm on the Mewtwo, to me, I really like the Mewtwo. You know, as time's gone on, I've actually really liked it. When I first saw the first reveal, I was like, let me kind of think on it. That, like I said, it's going to be between this Mewtwo, the Garchomp, which I'm about to go into, and the Moltres for the top chase card of the set. My personal favorite's the Moltres, but I don't think it's going to get the top chase card spot, because I think Mewtwo is kind of in that front running position. And same thing, Cynthias Garchomp, another really awesome artwork, special illustration rare, of course, very reminiscent of Gen 4, kind of Elite Four, kind of Cynthia's battle. They did a really good job. I think this one will be expensive because it is in that battle position. I kind of speak about this a lot, but when Pokemon poses are in battle positions, they kind of get high, heavy fan demand, right? Now, that doesn't mean if a Pokemon's not in a battle position, it's not going to be expensive. I mean, like Moonbreon is not in a battle position. Lost Origin Giratina is not. Same thing with another battle position pose. You can see the Ethan's Typhlosion. Really cool artwork as well. Would have been awesome to have this as a special illustration rare, but nonetheless, really great artwork. Love the colors of this as well. So when I'm looking at this, definitely a lot of the cards do look pretty cool. Though there is a few missteps, right? And not because they're not loved Pokemon, or not because they're not the most popular Pokemon, but I'm just being real with you. It's more that I think they could have done more with the artworks, right? First one is the Crustle. I kind of don't like this hyper-realistic. I don't like hyper-realistic artworks like the Ferret as well. And of course the Electrike as well. I do think that the artwork looks maybe a little bit uninspired here as well. That's the kind of thing when we're dealing with Destined Rivals. There's going to be, like I said, so many people who love the set, so many people who are complaining about the set. The thing is, you can't please everyone. Now, with how many Pokemon sets are being released, with how many people are just obsessed with Pokemon cards at the moment, some people are going to love Destined Rivals, others are not going to like it. Though the divide is massive for this set. I don't really think I've seen a divide this big. When Pokemon 151 reveals came out, a lot of people liked it, right? There was a few little people nitpicking things, but generally the consensus was pretty liked. Even when Surging Sparks came out and we saw the reveals, a lot of people like Surging Sparks. But with Destined Rivals, I literally feel like it's like split right in the middle. Some people love it, some people are not a fan. So that's going to be really interesting in how it plays out for the prices of these cards. You know, when I'm looking at these cards all together and they start piecing a kind of like a nice artistic theme, to me, I think the set's looking pretty good, man. I actually think Destined Rivals is good. I don't want to hype it up, especially because, you know, then people are going to go it's already going to be hyped up. You know, whether I love the set or I don't like the set, the hype's already there for Destined Rivals. We can't change that. Now, while Destined Rivals has a lot of difference in opinion, it does bring up topics relating to nostalgia and Pokemon, but more so, one question that I don't think a lot of people ask themselves is, why do we really enjoy collecting Pokemon cards? And I'm not talking about, because they're valuable, because isn't it incredible that Pokemon cards are still so insanely popular with adults? Well, there's actually some science behind this, and I actually reveal the answer to that within this video on screen here. Within this video that's appearing on screen, I go over the real reason we love collecting Pokemon cards and the reason behind it. Click the video that's currently appearing on screen. You can learn more about the psychology behind collectibles there. I'll see you there.